Hello everybody, I'm back with another requested tier list today. As you can see here, we have a lovely comment from Duarte saying he's getting invested in the videos and stuff. And he also asked for a video on car brands. So I responded to his comment and said, yep, I can do that. So here we are. I'm by no means an expert on cars at all. So, don't take these rankings too personally or whatever. If I rank your car bad or something. I'm just going to rank them how, if I'd want it or not, basically, I guess, is what I'm going to go off, because, I don't know enough about cars to say, oh, this is definitely better, anything like that. Appear to be going in alphabetical order, so we'll start with Alfa Romeo. I think the stereotype about Alfa Romeo is sort of, they look nice, but sort of the car part of the car's not as good, if you know, like, they're not the best performance, it's more about looks. At least that's the impression I've gotten from them. They're not too expensive, but they're not a cheap option either. For me, it won't be my first choice, to be honest. But I'd also happily drive one. I think probably a D to start with. Then we have Aston Martin. More on the high end for sure. Expensive cars, very nice looking cars. Pretty good performance as well, as far as I'm aware. But, you're going to have to be doing pretty well if you're driving an Aston Martin, aren't you? You have to be pretty rich if you can spend in 200 grand on a car or whatever. But, I must say, they are very nice looking. As someone who lives kind of near me, who has an Aston Martin, I see it every now and again driving past when I'm driving about or walking about. So yeah, very nice but expensive. I think I'd obviously like to have one, but it won't be my first choice still. I think a B. Then we have Audi. Audi, not Audi, not the supermarket. Audi. German. Kinda, nicer. Above like a average car, but not ridiculously expensive. I mean, obviously there's obviously ridiculously expensive Audis, but kind of like those three German ones like Audi, BMW, and Mercedes are like the nice cars without really being a luxury car, if you know what I mean. Audi, I think, yeah, pretty nice. You can get like lots of different types. You do like hatchbacks and stuff up to like proper like supercars. So yeah, versatile, decent, good make. German engineering's kind of got a good rep, probably for a reason, I imagine. I'd happily drive an Audi. I think a B. Then we have BMW. Sort of similar to Audi again, wide range, German again, and a nice car without being a luxury car as such. I mean, you can't, yeah, like I say, you can get luxury BMWs, but the brand itself is sort of premium without being like ridiculously expensive. I think for me, BMW similar to Audi, a B. Then we have Ferrari. This kind of, well, at least for me, at least the brand you think of when you're thinking like high-end luxury car, supercar, sports car, whatever. First thing that comes to my mind is Ferrari. They've been going for ages, famous. The cars look really cool. Everyone knows Ferrari, very famous brand. I think it's kind of the car everyone wants. Is like when you're a child, you're like, oh, I want a Ferrari or whatever. Again, obviously, very expensive. Only do high-end cars. Even the cheapest one's probably over 100 grand, I'd imagine. They have classics as well. I think Ferrari's kind of, the car brand, isn't it, really? I say an S. Then we have Fiat. Back down to earth, a more sort of everyday brand. Very popular Fiat 500. You see an awful lot of them about, absolutely loads. They're a bit small for my liking as a Fiat 500, but they do other cars. Fiat for me, it's okay, kinda down the middle, but it won't be my first choice if I'm going for like a budget car either, to be honest. But I'd also happily drive one again. I think probably a D. Then we have Ford. More again an common budget one. But they also do lots of expensive ones as well. Like the Ford GT stuff like that. They do like pickup trucks as well, stuff like the Ford. Is it the F-150 or something like that? That's like the most popular car in America, but like no one has a pickup over in the UK barely. But Ford, yeah, classic, standard sort of car make, very popular, decent, get the job done. I'd say a C, you know. I'd happily drive a Ford. Then we have the one that everyone pronounces differently. Hyundai, or Hyundai, or whatever you want to call it. You can see what it is. Yeah, again, more sort of affordable. You know, a standard sort of affordable car. Pretty common again. From Japan or South Korea. Couldn't tell you which, to be honest. Might never be either of them, but I think it's one of them. I don't see as many of these as like a Ford or something like that. But yeah, again, I'd happily drive one, but won't be my first choice. I'd say a D. Then we have Jaguar. Bit more on the premium side again. But Jaguar to me kind of as an association with like old people almost. Like I'm not trying to be no, not old people, like more classics, I guess, you know. And I guess they are associated with old people a bit. Like I feel like, you know, it's like some old person with an old Jaguar he leaves it in garage and only drives it once a year when it's sunny or whatever. I mean, obviously the new cars are the more on the premium end, so they're quite expensive as well. But I think they have that sort of old people rep. So for me at the moment, I wouldn't want one, and they're quite expensive. So yeah, for me it's an F tier. Then we have Ikea. Back down to the more affordable range. These are from South Korea. I'm pretty confident on that one. Very common car again. You get 7-year warranty, I think, on the adverts. That was a big thing for ages that they never shut up about. So they've managed to drive that into my head, so that obviously works, to be fair. Don't know if they still offer that. But Kia, yeah, I think kind of fine again. Won't be my first choice, but not bad either. D. Lamborghini, again, like, back up to the top end, the supercars, the really fancy looking cars. Yeah, Lamborghini, very the sort of the car you buy if you want to kind of flex your car, it's like typical like rappers and all the YouTubers a few years ago were buying Lamborghinis and stuff like that. Yeah, the cars themselves, like the performance side, I don't think it's. I mean, they're obviously good, but I don't think they're like as good as they look, if you know what I mean. I think a Lamborghini is more about looks than the car, kind of like the performance. But yeah, I know it would obviously still be amazing to own one. But yeah, pretty cool, but not quite Ferrari tier, I don't think. Then we have Land Rover. These are like more, 4x4s, rather than sort of cars. Kind of for off-roading, but lots of people just buy a Land Rover and then just drive around town with it unnecessarily. But, you can do what you want, can't you? It's your car, buy what you want. For me, I do more associate Land Rovers with like, farmers, off-roading, vehicles like that. But yeah, I'd happily drive a Land Rover, but like I said, I don't really need one as I wouldn't need to go off-roading. So yeah, I drive one, but I don't really need the off-roading capabilities and all that stuff, so I don't know why I'd get one. So probably an E, just because I have no need for a 4x4. Then we have Mercedes. Like the third of the sort of German trio. For me, I think Mercedes is kind of my favourite of the three. I think they just kind of look a bit nicer. Obviously got an F1 team as well, which I watch F1, so that kind of advertises them to me all the time, although they're not as good at the moment, but they were very good for the last sort of 10 years, majority of it. But the normal cars, again, you can get like hatchbacks up to like really good sports cars. But yeah, Mercedes, I think nice. I like the logo as well, just that sort of 3-pointy thing. Looks good. So yeah, Mercedes, I'll put A tier. Then we have Mini. Sort of like the old school British thing, but I don't think they're British anymore. I think someone else might have bought them, but I'm not sure on that either. Minis for me, I'm not a fan, you know. I don't really like how they look. They look just weird. So many of them have like a Union Jack on the roof, which is just unnecessary in my opinion. Like, I'm pretty sure they're not even British anymore. You know, they're not even small anymore. Like the initial, like, ooh, we're really small. They're just kind of like a standard car these days, but they're also quite expensive still. Like, the more than like buying like a Ford Focus or whatever, for sure, is buying like a Mini Cooper. So yeah, Mini for me, no, it's just I wouldn't drive one personally. They're a kind of standard car. I don't like how they look much, and they're a bit expensive. You're kind of paying for a name brand that I don't really like. So say F. Then we have Porsche. Kind of like an in between like the super cars, I like the Ferrari and the Lamborghini, and even the premiums like BMW and Audi. Kind of like Porsches in that tier in terms of cost. Um, I think at least, you know, kind of you're not really buying. You certainly not. You can't get a cheap Porsche, but you know they're not like. There are some affordable ones if you're doing well. You know, you don't have to be super rich to have a Porsche, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I quite like how Porsche looks. You know, they have unique kind of. They've all kind of got like a weird curve going on at the back, which I quite like the look of. Uh, you know, they do different things as well. They do like is it the KN that's kind of like a bigger SUV type thing. Then they obviously do like 911 stuff like that, Boxsters. So yeah, they've got a bit of variety, but not that much. But yeah, Porsche. I'd like a Porsche, you know. Be cool to have if I had a lot more money than I do now. Let's say, I'll put it here, you know. Then we have Skoda. Um, these used to have a bit of a bad rep back in the day for breaking down and stuff. Like my parents used to always say like, "Oh yeah, Skoda bad," but nowadays I think they're pretty fine. But I think they still kind of carry a bit of that negative stigma with them. Um, yeah, I think they're just kind of like, you know, they're obviously a common, like, you know, everyday brand, affordable, but they do have that negative stigma with them that would put me off a bit, to be honest, I must say. So I'd probably say E. There we have Tesla. You know, electric cars, more modern, different. I'm sure most of these are doing electric car, but Tesla are like only electric cars. For me currently, like where I live, having an electric car would be useless. Like I couldn't charge it from how I live at the moment. There's like barely anywhere around me that's like got the super fast chargers either. The only time I ever see them really is like when I'm on the motorway somewhere or something. There's like none around me. Like my living situation, I couldn't even charge it at my house. So yeah, Tesla for me is just it's not feasible. I do like how they look, but like it just doesn't work for where I live at the moment. I mean, Vauxhall, you know, kind of like a standard again. I think these Vauxhall might be Opel in like the rest of the world, but I could be wrong on that. I think there's something to do with Opel, but Vauxhall, a very common car again, pretty standard. Like the Vauxhall Corsa is an absolute like classic first car sort of thing. Loads of people get like clapped up old Vauxhall Corsa. Yeah, it's just a classic first car. You get the job done, affordable, you know, fine. Vauxhall, I think a C as well. Then we have Volvo, Swedish, I believe. Yeah, kind of like I kind of associate these with maybe older people again as well. You know, they're kind of a bit more premium as well. I feel like, you know, it's not really like a everyday car in a Volvo. It's a bit of a more expensive one, but without being like expensive. It's kind of like bigger as well, like saloon cars. I guess I associate with Volvo. But I think they're like really they last for ages as well, do they? I think Volvos is like their rep. They're like people driving for like 20 years and stuff. But Volvo, yeah, I'd happily drive a Volvo. I think. I'd say I'd say a D, just because a bit of association with old people. Then last up we have Volkswagen. Uh, kind of an affordable everyday one. Volkswagen Golf is like a classic, probably one of the most well known, but like probably best selling cars going. Uh, yeah, a bit of a common one, well known. They had the big emissions thing a few years ago that kind of dented the rep a bit, but you still see loads of Volkswagens about. Golf is just a classic in it. Fit Volkswagen, standard good, affordable car. I'd say C. Okay, that was my uninformed opinion on cars. So, don't if I've ranked something you have down low. Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't know much about cars. It's just what I'd want. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions you want to see, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.